In today's video, I'm making homemade cube steak and gravy, and I thought I'd share this recipe with y'all. This is a quick, easy way, and it's a way to get your cube steak tender. So if you've ever bought cube steak and got it home and cooked it, and it was a little tough, I'm going to show you in today's video how to get it tender. So come on and join us in the kitchen as we share this recipe with y'all. That's what our cube steak's turning out to look like. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm in the kitchen cooking, and I'm going to be making cube steak and gravy with mashed potatoes and Cathead biscuits. So I thought I would share this recipe with y'all. So today is just a cook with me video. It's not really an exact recipe. I'm just going to show y'all how we do cube steak and gravy. So come on and let's get started. We're going to start by making up our batter mixture. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some flour in this plate right here. And you don't have to measure it, just forever how much beef you've got, cube steak, just sort of eyeball it and know that you're going to have enough to batter all 4 or 5 pieces, whatever you have. I think I've got 4 right here in this pack. So you'll put your flour in there, and now you're going to just cover your flour with your black pepper and your salt. And I always add just a little bit of onion powder. And that just gives that cube steak just that extra little flavor. And now you're just gonna mix in all that salt and pepper and onion powder in your flour mixture. Just mix it in good. And you're gonna need some kind of big skillet because you're gonna have to be able to fry all your meat in there. Plus you're gonna make a gravy, and then we're going to bake it in the oven. So it has to be a kind of skillet that can be baked in the oven for around 35 minutes to 40. But I'm using this great big, I believe this is a 12-inch iron skillet. So we're going to go ahead now and add our oil to our skillet. And you want to add just enough to be able to fry the meat in and have it probably not even a 1/4 of an inch in your skillet. It don't take a lot of grease to fry it in, just a little bit. And go ahead and turn that on low, a medium low, and let it be heating up. Okay, I'm going to open my meat up, and I'm just going to put it on this blue little tray I have. That's the cube steak. I seasoned that meat also before I even put it in my batter mix. I'm going to put a light coat of black pepper on it, the salt, and the onion powder. Not much, just a little. And then you just want to press it down in that cube steak. The grease is heating up. We're going to go ahead now and we're going to start battering our meat in our flour mixture. And what you want to do is just take it and press it down in there. And that gets that good coating on it. It'll put a good crust. And now we're just going to do all 4 pieces. And I did have 4 pieces in this pack. Just press it. That way that flour will make a good thick crust. All right, now once you get them coated good with your flour mixture, while the grease is heating up, you want to let these sit for around 5 to 10 minutes before you put them in the oil. Okay, now that my grease is getting good and hot, and this is set for almost 10 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start adding them into my oil. That's about how deep you want your oil right there. It don't have to cover both sides. We're going to get these other two in there. And now I'm going to wash this. Alright, when you get your meat in there, go ahead then and start preheating your oven to 400. Just let it get a good golden brown on that side, and then we'll flip it to the other side. This is sort of like, you could call it crusted cube steak and gravy. You put this flour on it to give it that perfect crust, and then we're going to put it in the gravy and tenderize it. You don't have to worry about cooking them all the way. You just want to get that good, pretty crust on them. Okay, now at this point, I'm going to take them out and I'm going to lay them on this plate right here. Okay, now we're going to set those back there to the side, and we're going to make us a gravy mixture that we're going to put them back into. So you've got all those good bits and pieces on that pan, and that's what you want. You don't want to use a different pan. You want to use that same pan. Okay, and we're going to use that oil too. And what we're going to do is just add us some flour to that, because we're going to make it thicken up with this flour. Okay, and now we're just going to cook that flour down real good, because you don't want to have that taste of raw flour in your cube steak and gravy, so make sure you cook your flour down. And ever how brown you want your gravy is how brown you'll get this flour. If you want it a more lighter color, don't let it get as brown. Our oven's preheated now. Okay. See how it's turning a little bit browner? And I know that fork sounds awful on that skillet, y'all, but you gotta use it to get that. Let's put a little bit more in there to get those bits up, to get it flavored good. You want all that good flavor in your gravy. Okay. And now to that, I'm gonna add a teaspoon of bouillon powder. You can use bouillon cubes, you can use the bouillon powder, whichever one you have. But that right there is about a teaspoon. And I'm going to add a little black pepper and a little bit of more salt. And just a dash more of that onion powder. And now we're going to give that a mix. Okay, and now we're going to use this beef broth that Travis and myself canned. Y'all listen to this seal. Oh yeah, that sealed good. Homemade beef broth. I'll probably wind up using that whole can. Now, whenever you're going to bake your cube steak and gravy in the oven like this to get it tender, because that's what you're doing. You're frying it on the top of the skillet. You're frying it on the top in the skillet, but then you're going to put it in the oven and bake it for around 35 to 40 minutes. And that's going to get it tender for you. You know how sometimes that cube steak's a little tough? Well, this right here tenderizes your cube steak so tender you wouldn't believe it. Because I used to make it without doing this, and it was tough sometimes. So if you'll just do this step and bake it in the oven, it'll turn out tender every time. So you want to let your gravy be a little bit thinner than normal. That way you'll be able to have enough liquid in it to bake it in the oven. But it'll thicken up as it bakes. Let me get a spoon so I can show y'all. See, it's thick, but it's not as thick as you would want it if it was done. You gotta let it have a, you gotta let it be a little bit more runny. That way it can have the extra liquid in it to bake your cube steak. And y'all know what? I'm gonna go ahead and use that whole quart. Now I've got a lid to this skillet, but if you've got something you don't have a lid to, you could always use aluminum foil and just tighten it up real good so it stays sealed good and it will tenderize this cube steak. And now we're just putting our cube steak down in this gravy. Get it mixed in there good. Now I'm going to cut the top eye off. And now we're going to put the lid on it and we're going to bake it for around 35 to 40 minutes. Got our potatoes going. I'm going to make some creamed potatoes, cube steak and gravy, and our big old Cathead biscuits. So now let's check steak and see how it's doing. Ooh, it's looking good, y'all. Now, one way you could eat this, you could open up one of those biscuits and put you one of these cube steaks with the gravy in it. And woo, you talking about that'd be good. But what we're going to do is he's going to eat the cube steaks. I'm going to do mashed potatoes with the gravy on top and a biscuit. But that's what our cube steak's turning out to look like. It's done. So now all I've got to do is finish my potatoes. Okay, y'all, there's what our cube steak turned out to look like. It's fork tender. We've got our cream potatoes and our Cathead biscuits. Okay, y'all, that's our video on how to get cube steak tender. I hope you like this video, and if you do, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, like, and share. Subscribe down below if you hadn't already for more videos. Thanks for watching.